I always hate how loud that is.
Mhm.
All right. All right, we'll get started and I'll admit more students as they come in. Well, thank you so much everyone for joining today's webinar. Today is a very special webinar. It's one of our alumni chats with energy systems engineering specifically. So I'm Alicia Markey. I'm the recruiter for our energy systems engineering program. You probably have gotten my emails before. So hello and welcome. And I'm also joined by our alum, Merritt Dailey. So Merritt will introduce herself in a minute here, give you background, what she's currently doing, everything like that. And then we will have it open up for question and answers. So anything you all want to know, you can unmute and ask your questions or use the chat with any questions. You can put it in there and I'll read it out loud. But it's really a time for you to get to hear it from someone who actually did the program and not just me, the recruiter. So Merritt, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. I'm happy to share a bit about myself and then my time in the program. That's kind of the spirit of this introduction. Um, it was, I think, the summer of 2019 that I decided to pause work. I worked at Google for 5 years and felt quite frustrated, let's say, at the job. It was a little bit boring in some ways, like, it was about just everyone was selling ads. It was ads, 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 and I felt quite unfulfilled. So I decided, "What do I really care about? What do I wanna do?" And I thought about, a enduring passion of mine was the environmental work and environmental sphere, so I decided to go back to school. I applied. In the summer of 2019, I enrolled at, Yale University's program, for environmental science. Um, I was there for maybe 3 weeks when I realized, like, the program at Yale is great in a lot of ways, but it was not very technical, and I was really craving, engineering, hard science, classes more of that nature, and so I literally called the engineering systems program. I think this was, like, mid-August, it was pretty late, and I said, "Can I transfer there and start, like, in a month?" And I will never forget Rhonda Hamilton. She completely changed my life. Within a day, she got me an acceptance letter. I've never had such high touch and caring staff at a program ever in my life, and that's really true, Alicia. I'm not just saying that. You guys are absolutely phenomenal at what you do. So within a day, I was like, "Oh my god, it's really an option. I can go to this program." I was really drawn in by, Michigan's engineering prowess. Like, it is absolutely one of the best in the US for engineering, and I am so happy I transferred. I am so happy that I got on this path. I spent 2 years at the school. As you know, I said I started in 2019 because that was right before COVID. So March of 2020, schools started shutting down. They weren't sure how that would look. We changed to, Zoom and online formats. It still worked really well. I still had a lot of high touch experiences with professors. Um, I really bonded with people. Margaret Wooldridge, I took her class on advanced thermodynamics. I literally still use principles from her class in my job every day. I worked a lot with Volker Sick. He just stepped down from the Global CO2 Initiative, but that initiative is really well known. It really greased the wheels for me to get jobs. And Professor Linnick, Sulio Linnick, he maybe Alicia, does he still run the program? He still does. Okay, yeah. So Sulio, he has a really cool story. He's a cool guy too, and he introduced me to the man who is now my PhD advisor. So I really can't tell you guys like how many golden nuggets I had while I was at Michigan. And the program itself is pretty flexible. There was a good amount of online classes. There was a good amount of variety in the courses I took. I focused a lot on power generation. Batteries was a real interest, solar panels, how solar cells work, renewable dispatching. And I use all of that stuff today in my job. I now work as a climate tech investor. I'm at a venture capital firm. We have like $500 million we're deploying. We've invested in 20 companies already. It's a really fun and exciting job. And I could not have been better prepared than by this program. So it was just an awesome experience. Um, I don't wanna hog up all the time. I just wanna add that I also, while at Michigan, there were real ways to make it very affordable for me. So, I was a grad student teacher. I think it's still called GSE, right,
Yep,
Alicia? Or
yep,
GSI,
graduate
GSI.
GSI,
Yeah,
GSIs,
yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
yep,
Yeah,
graduate student, instructor.
that's it, yeah. So, I don't know if you guys have heard about this program, but GSI is this phenomenal thing that's pretty unique to Michigan, because of Michigan's background actually is like a really strong union, I guess not organization, union university. But as a GSI, the semesters that you're teaching as a GSI, you get your tuition completely waived and you get paid on top of that and you get healthcare. So for I think 2 or 3 semesters, I taught business and climate change. I had 75 students as like that were in my classes. I taught 3 sections a week. I absolutely loved teaching. It was so empowering to hear about the students' perspective on climate change. It really made me feel more in touch with what I was doing, and I think I came out ahead. Like, I was able to save money because I was a GSI and I wasn't spending so much by going to the program. So it was an absolutely phenomenal way to fund myself through, the program. I also, as another avenue of funding, I was a Dow fellow. Dow Chemical endows, I think $20,000 to maybe 40 fellows. They pay a lot of money for this fellowship, to support graduate students who are doing, um, environmental related work, and, it's a phenomenal cohort. I got great networking. It was really, really interesting, and $20,000 is a lot of money. Like, it was a really meaningful way also to support yourself through this program. And the last one I wanna shout out, I worked on a class, Entrepreneurship and Climate Change. It was through the Center for Entrepreneurship, the CFE, which may have changed its name, I don't know. Alicia, is that still CFE? Okay,
Still
I
CFE,
see you
Center for
nodding.
Entrepreneurship, yep.
Still that. So I was one of the first cohorts of Tech Lab Climate Change. And that class paired us with a real technology company, which happened to be LanzaTech. And LanzaTech is this really cool startup, even though you can barely call it a startup. It's been around since 2006 now, but it takes waste CO2 emissions and it liquefies them by just doing a phase change, which is not that complicated. And they have engineered microbes that they then set to eat the liquid CO2, and the microbes basically fart out ethanol, which is a product that people buy. So it's this really simple and elegant solution to CO2 emissions. And ironically, as a VC investor, one of the companies we later invested in was LanzaTech. And it was just really a full circle moment of like, I literally did a program with LanzaTech in grad school. I was working with them on I think the go-to-market strategy on municipal waste, like, it was a really engaged program. I learned a ton, and, then I literally came across them later as an investor. So, I have so much good stuff to say about this program. I feel like I just kinda gave you the really quick and dirty, my favorite 10 things or whatever, but, um, I just wanna hammer again, like, it was affordable. It is incredibly related to work I'm doing now, and I truly have never met a better supporting faculty and staff. Like I, I've never had such high touch, caring, welcoming, and aware, friendly staff. Especially, I mean, University of Michigan is a large university. There's a lot of students. It feels like a really small and tight knit group. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and this program set me up for a career that I'm really, really enjoying, and I will always be grateful to them.
So happy to hear that, Mary, and I didn't make her say this, everyone.
No, I'm not a plant. This is just the true honest thing. And
No.
yeah, I have so much good to say.
So if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to unmute and ask them or put them in the chat. Just to get the ball kind of rolling here, Merritt, one question that I've always asked our alums, and I know it's like thinking back, but you mentioned Margaret Woolrich's class, but what was your favorite class in the program that or during your time here? It doesn't even have to be energy system specific, but just what was your favorite class that you took, if you can remember?
Man, I think there's, like, 3 probably that tie in terms of classes that, like, really just accelerated my knowledge and set me up for success in career. So I would say 1 was Margaret Wooldridge's class. She's a phenomenal teacher. She got down to the, like, brass tacks of power generation, energy, thermodynamics. She covered a lot in a year or in a semester. Um, Grading was very fair, exams were very fair. She was really available for, office hours, and I just saw her at a ARPA-E conference, and I, like, chased after her, and I was like, "Oh my god, Margaret, like, I used to go to your office hours all the time," and she was like, "How are you doing?" So she's just a great teacher, she's very available, she's really, really well known in combustion engines, very smart lady, great teacher. Um, Also that class I mentioned, the entrepreneurship class, it really, like, we were just thrown into a project where we were working with, like, a real company, and it was not an intellectual exercise, like, we talked to members of the company every week, we were moving along a project, like, it really was like we were basically consultants to this company, and it was great that, Volker set it up, like, it was just a really good opportunity, and it was very, very hands-on learning and very good for, like, applying skills to actual real world scenarios. And then the third one, and I think this is extremely relevant now, but I took a class, on the grid, and it was policy. It's taught by Craig, I can't remember his last name. Um, he got his PhD at Carnegie Mellon, and he did policy integration, on the grid. The grid, I'll tell you all, like, it is a historic moment for the grid. This is the first time in 30 years that, demand for electricity in this country is actually growing. It's growing materially. A lot of that's data centers. There is a lot of money going into this. We need grid hardening, grid resiliency, virtual PPAs, like, all this stuff is happening, and it's really, really interesting time, and I took a class on the grid from Craig. He's also an excellent teacher. He covered a lot of its history, the mechanics that make it work, ISOs, policies, how each state or some states have conglomerates, how they all operate and organize, and how economic incentives work. I learned a ton in that class. Like, I need to go back to the notes because, you know, it is extremely relevant for today. Um, and not many people at all really know how the grid works, but people are desperate to know how to power data centers. A lot of that demand is coming from the grid. So that was a great class, and it's a great time to take that class.
Thank you so much for that in-depth overview, Merritt. I appreciate it. I don't think I could remember all those classes, but we have a question from Laura. She asked, would you recommend to enroll working full-time while working full-time to the program?
Um, I did. I worked at Google until March 2020. I had about the worst timing in the world. Like March 1st, 2020 was when I scheduled my last day at Google. And then truly a week later, like the world started to shut down. Everyone started to get laid off. I was like, "Oh my god, what have I done? I screwed myself. I have no job in a pandemic." It all was fine, but I was working at Google and doing this program, and I found it manageable. Like, I was in my 20s in the program. I didn't have kids. Like, I had the time and capacity. I think if I had a lot of demands at home, it would be hard. Um, but you also can kind of go your own pace. Like, I can't remember the exact number, but there's a certain amount of credits that switch you from the threshold to part-time to full-time. And yeah, so I don't know what that means, Alicia, on the GPA,
So
but maybe you know about the credits.
yeah, so for the credits specifically, especially with those working full time, you could do the program full time while working full time, or you can also do it part time while working full time. So that means that you would take like, 1 to 2 courses only a semester, and you even have the capability to like take a semester away if you need to. Like there's, a work project that comes up that is going to take a lot of time, like winter semester, you could take that semester away. Just always let your graduate coordinator know what you're planning to do so that we know you're not just like leaving the program. But it allows for that flexibility. And for students that are working full time and like not in the state of Michigan or even in the country, the online option for the degree program allows you to do it asynchronously. So you can watch the lecture recordings whenever it fits into your schedule and when you like have the time to do it, the bandwidth to do it. So we know that there's a lot of external things pulling our working students away. So that's why a lot of our students do it online then so that they can have that flexibility. And you have up to 5 years to complete the degree program if you pursue it online, which don't panic about that. Most don't take 5 years to complete it, but we just allow for that because we know, like I said, there's external things happening there. But the total program is only 30 credits, so it's pretty easy to kind of divide those up through the semesters. And like I said, you have quite a long time to complete it. So we've seen most of our full-time students not have any issue finishing the program while they're working because of the option to go online. And also you could also switch back to on campus too. So say you want to come up for a semester and be on campus, you can do that. You just have to be one or the other in a specific semester. So just online or on campus, that's all. But it is really nice to have that flexibility option. We had another question come through about the GPA requirements for the program. So the GPA for the program is a 3.0 is the minimum, but the average that we have students applying with is a 3.5. So for the application itself, you don't have to take a GRE, but if you are at that like low 3.0 threshold, we do recommend taking it then. And we had another question come in. Is there an intensive presential option? How fast can you complete the program? Or is 2 years the minimum? So I can answer some of this. Um, so for how fast you can complete the program, we have had students do it in a year, but that's really accelerated. Most of the time, it's about a year and a half to two to complete the program. There is, like I said, the minimum we've seen. There is no like minimum per se, but the fastest we've seen it is that year time frame. And then Bruno, could you explain a little bit more of what you mean about the presential like option? Are you looking to like present your research work, or what specifically do you mean? Feel free to mute and explain that too. You don't have to type it in, whatever's easiest. Oh, okay. So, you mean in classroom classes. So the on-campus option is all on-campus courses and in the classroom. And then if you are doing it online, those lectures are recorded from two classrooms on campus that are like made for online learning. There's not just like a random person in the back like holding a camera. They actually have full like recording studios in those classrooms and microphones in the ceiling to capture like student questions and stuff. So those lectures are recorded and then made available within 24 hours of recording. So you'll have those actual in-class lectures that you'll be able to view as the online student. And then you of course have access to like us, the staff, the faculty. We're still here to help you through it because you are still a U of M student. You're just doing it online. So
I'll add that the classrooms are um, really robust, like the recording, the ones that are outfitted for specifically online lectures after, like you can hear all the student questions. There's ways that like when the teacher writes on a tablet, like you can see it really easily recorded later. Like they're very sophisticated and I thought they worked really, really well. And then because I went through this in COVID, so I think we're using almost exclusively those tools at least for a semester. Um, Reaching out to professors uh, through Zoom office hours was also really great. Like there's one professor I still keep in touch with, Kristen Lasowski. He's an expert on carbon capture. We've never met in person. We just always Zoomed, but I still feel like we built a relationship. I know who he is. He knows me, and he was incredibly nice and generous with his time. So I found it to be a very convenient but impactful format.
you still not met them in person, Merritt?
No, I've never met Christian. I met a lot of the other ones in person, but yeah, Christian, it was the last semester. COVID was roaring back. Like it was one of my last classes to take. And so, yeah, he's even, I'm down right now in South Carolina, and like he's even visited this town, and we haven't even overlapped here. So there's been many chances, but never met in person. But I really
Totally.
do feel like I got to know who he is. Like, there's something about Zoom, like, it's not the same as in person, but you really can get, like, a lot of the way there if you're intentional about it.
No, definitely agree, and that's what we've seen with our faculty interaction with the online students too, so, we definitely see that. Mary, do you think that there's any other degree that you would compare to this? Like when you were looking at programs, I know you were at Yale originally and you kind of found that that wasn't the right fit. But were there like what really drew you to this specific program? I know you mentioned how it was more like engineering focused, more technical. But is there anything else about the program that really set it apart for you from others?
This is a great question. I can't remember exactly the other programs. I think there's a few, like, I wanna say, I don't know if it's Johns Hopkins or something that had, like, an environmental program like this. Um, but at the time I was going to school, there was really only a few masters of environmental science that were well-known programs. One of them was Yale, one of them was Michigan. Stanford had a program they were just starting. What I think is really unique about this program and one of its absolute superpowers is one, it's technical. It was really hard for me to find a technical program that was also in the environment that had the like technical rigor that I was really looking for. And I'll say, to everyone on this call and anyone who might be watching it later, for me, getting on a more technical path, which was something I wanted, like I find science really, really fascinating and so powerful. It has been a game changer for my career. Like I have been selected for multiple jobs and roles because I have this technical background. It really has been a differentiator for me. Um, and that's really one thing I wanted at Michigan. And it's just, I think at the time I enrolled, it was a top 5 engineering university. It might still be, I don't know where it is. The rankings are a little weird now. Um, so it just had like this phenomenal uh, applied science you know, uh, brain trust, let's say, at Michigan, and so that really drew me, but in addition, like, there's so many schools at Michigan that have some environmental footprint, and I mean that, like, more facetiously, not their carbon footprint, but they focus on the environment in some way, so, the Ford Public Policy School, one of the best classes I took that I didn't even mention because there's so many good classes, was on public policy with Barry Rabe. I still reference like, I was on a panel last week at Climate Week in New York. I someone asked me, "What are, important climate, tools for public policy?" And I from his class, like, we did such a deep dive on, carbon taxes, like, I was like, "Not a carbon tax," and that literally was from that class, so to answer your nice short question in a very long way, there's so many schools and areas of focus within the Michigan umbrella that I was like a kid in a candy store, interested in something. I mean, there's the school of Cs, the environmental, I honestly don't remember the acronyms, but Cs was the environmental master's school. There was a lot of different programs there, including on environmental justice or climate economics. Or I could take a policy class, or I could really like fill my cup with just incredibly strong technical classes. And I think that's a huge differentiator for Michigan. Um, I'd also say that, like, for my undergrad, I went to a smaller school. Michigan is a big school. It's got like a big alumni network. They are really into Michigan, like, there's a whole "Go Blue" thing, which I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Like, everyone's like, "Go Blue," and then you get into it, and it's really fun, to be part of, like, the Big 10 organization, like, I'm from Pennsylvania, Michigan always plays Penn State, like, you're just part of this huge, huge network of college graduates, and that, I think, is also such a differentiator from some of these smaller schools.
We have over 680,000 alums worldwide. So it's a huge network that you join when you enter the University of Michigan for any of the programs. So that's really something that sets us apart, and especially when looking for job prospects and connections. If you move to new areas too, there's like alumni chapters in different cities and stuff. So you can always reach out to them and go to those events. And then also just networking, like I said, for those job opportunities. There's probably at least one alum where you want to go that you can reach out to, or worked in that area through LinkedIn, so that you can have these kind of networking conversations that help you get those positions. In fact, we have two large career fairs that happen every year, one in the fall and one in the winter, and that's just for our engineering students. And those bring in over 300 companies to campus, not even thinking about the online ones as well. And that's a great way that most of our students find their full-time or internship opportunities, is through that career fair, because a lot of times those employers are only coming possibly to like our fair. And then you have access to the job board through Engineering Career Resource Center that has co-op, full-time, and internship opportunities posted almost hourly. So you can always be checking on those. And a lot of those positions aren't going to be on like LinkedIn Jobs or Monster or something like that. They're only for our students because they know what they want, and they know that our students have kind of the best there. So they only will post them on our specific job board. So that's really nice that you have access to that as well when looking for your next like step in the career. Merritt, do you have any advice for an incoming student? Like, you know, they're just starting. What should they kind of expect, or what would you tell an incoming student for the program and entering University of Michigan, or what would you have told yourself? I guess.
That's a great question. I I would say maybe the grades matter less than I thought they would, 'cause in a master's program, your grades don't matter that much, I have found. I would really just focus on learning, like, what's interesting to you? Really round out your skill set, take classes that are a little bit outside your comfort zone. Like, as I mentioned, I really wanted that technical basket of skills and knowledge, but I took a policy class and, like, man, that's really helped me. I feel a lot more aware of just that whole field of what's influencing my work. Um, and I mean, you guys have heard me mention a lot of names. Like I did spend a good amount of time in office hours just asking professors about their past or what drew them to this field or what's interesting to them or if they were in my shoes, what would they do? And at first I felt a little like sheepish maybe about asking, but then, as I think learned more from professors themselves. Like one of for a lot of these folks who work in these jobs, one of the great pleasures they have of working is like actually mentoring the students. And so I found that it was just like a really mutually warm and beneficial thing to go and ask questions in office hours. And I think that was maybe one of the best things I did because then in like I felt a little more familiar with the subject matter and the professor and I felt, more comfortable raising my hand and asking a question. I just felt a lot more plugged in. Um, so yeah, I guess I would say focus not as much on your GPA or your exact grade, and what's interesting to you and like what can you really learn from the person in front of you or even your fellow students. Like especially through the whole GSI thing. I was working really close with another 4 students. We still keep in touch. I saw one of them in New York. We went to a Broadway show. Um, you'll learn a lot from your fellow students too. So that's what really worked for me. And yeah, I hope that advice helps some of you if you do enroll. And I really, if you're interested and you can make it work, I really think you should. It's put me on a path that I feel really good about. I'm really excited to be in this field.
No, and you bring up a perfect point when we're talking about our curriculum, specifically. Merritt keeps hitting on this, where you get that availability to take courses outside of engineering specifically. So it's broken into kind of four areas for the curriculum, and it still is very much like I think you went through Merritt. So there's that program core. That's where you get that firm foundational technical knowledge that she was mentioning. And then also, though, the integrative science piece, that's where we really push you. We want you to go outside of engineering to take courses. Look at public policy, look at business courses from Ross. Like, get outside of that and really craft your specific plan of study to hit what you want out of this program and like in your next path or next career. And then we also, as a requirement for the program, is the immersive practice. That's where you get to put everything to use. So that's on like usually an internship where you get to highlight your skills to possibly a potential employer, which is always nice, or a research project. So it's really nice to see everything you work so hard in your classrooms actually come to fruition, and see it in real time and real action there. The career pathways courses, this comes from a lot of times our alumni. So we have external advisory boards that tell us what does the industry lack right now? What do they want to see, like you all, the new incoming students, learning and bringing to the table and bringing to the industry? So that's where those courses come in from, is from actual industry, you know, alums telling us they need more of this, they want to see more of that. So it really makes it for a industry ready position and to get you to that next step in your career path essentially. So that's what makes us a little bit unique, is that it's not just, oh, okay, here's this the same, you know, courses that every student takes and that's what it is. It's not like a prescribed thing. It's really up to you to choose your own adventure where your courses lie specifically. So thank you so much for that. Merritt, were you, I know you mentioned earlier, you know, how big U of M is, and it is. It's a big university, small town, Ann Arbor, but big university. How did you find that change from, you know, coming from a small undergrad to the University of Michigan? What were some things that really like helped you feel part of the community, and kind of like get out there? I know like we have, you know, over 500 graduate specific student orgs, but what really helped you kind of feel a part of the university and the energy systems program in general?
That's a great question. I think you all put on a lot of programming, so like ESE lunchtime chats, ways to meet people, even if you're remote. Like there's a lot of Zoom events. Um, and then I was in the business school, which I should have mentioned, Ross. There's a bunch of MBAs who are also focused on environmental work or climate work or energy work. There's a lot of organizations that you can plug into there, and I joined them. I think they were really happy to have someone who is maybe more technical join. And again, some of the people I worked with at that organization, I see it like happy hours for venture capital because one of them works at like Next Era Energy now. Like it is a small world. Like um, so there's so many clubs. It was really, really frictionless. Interested me. Um, I did live in Ann Arbor for the first 6 months, but then COVID made everything remote. And so in that 6 months, I met a lot of people. I got to bond with people over like the farmers markets, which are awesome. There's a lot of really great restaurants. There's a farm stand. I can't remember the name. I know I worked with the family, the daughter. She was part of my GSI. But there's a farm stand that just got removed, I think. Um, so that there was all these like great little community touch points in Ann Arbor itself. But again, like once I switched to remote, um, it was so easy just to Zoom people, talk to them, join a club, one that interested me. And I mean, as a student, you're able to go to the University of Michigan football games, which are really, really, really fun and wild. And the largest stadium in America is a University of Michigan one. Um, I just got the internet connection unstable, so I hope I'm not chopping out too much. Um, but there was such a multitude of ways to connect, whether you're in person or online.
Yeah, the Big House. We just had the biggest concert, I think, in the US was just at the Big House. So it's a pretty cool stadium in my background. So no, highly recommend getting involved on campus and externally to Ann Arbor. We do have some of the best restaurants. Merritt, what was your favorite restaurant in town?
Oh man, I think I liked the station. I'm vegetarian. They had phenomenal vegetarian options. And I think some of their mission was to hire people that were formerly incarcerated or struggling and just out of rehab. And so it was like a real like social mission too. Like let's retrain people. Um, so the food was really good. It was a great social mission. Like it was like a knock it out of the park kind of restaurant. I loved it. What's your favorite?
Oh, I think Tomakin or Slurping Turtle. I love ramen, and that's really good. And Tomakin is like the Korean barbecue. So those are my favorites. If you all come to those.
Try those.
Yes. happy to give more recommendations on food anytime. Mary, I know that you've been so positive about the program and everything that it's done for you and helped for you. So I know this is probably going to be a silly question to ask, but gotta ask it, and you can say no. But would you recommend the program to like your colleagues, to friends, family, or anyone like overall? I think it's a yes, maybe not.
Twist, it's a no. No, I mean, there is a I absolutely would. If you're interested, if you wanna gain technical knowledge, it's such a win. It's an easy yes because the program is so flexible. Like, you, Rhonda, your team, like, you did so much to make sure that the classes I want I could take, that my schedule could be accommodated, that you could meet me in person or in Zoom. Like, you guys were just phenomenal at making this program easy to be part of. And it was so, like, you could stretch it to what you wanted it to be. Like, I could take classes in a huge arena of topics, and, it really has set me up for the career I wanted. And I know I'm in a climate career, and I know that right now it's probably looking really tough on the outside to work in climate, but I'll say, like, this program, you don't have to take a very strict climate lens. You can do something that's just a lot more focused on energy, power generation. You could even do natural gas combined cycle work if that's what you're interested in. There's so much room for what you're passionate about, and I think that's unique about this program. Um, it also just, like, I can't tell you how I feel so well set up for the real world and my work, and it really is this program. Like, it supercharged me to be in roles I had only really dreamed of doing, and now I feel like I can do them and do them well, and that really was this program. So, um, it also was affordable with the GSI and the Dow Fellowship, and, I really came out just so ahead in this program. So, yeah, if you are interested, I'm happy to talk more about it one-on-one. I thought it was just it's one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself, truly.
I'm glad to hear that. Be bad if it was not. But as Merritt just brought up, there are a lot of different areas that you can take the degree. So some of the areas of excellence for energy systems specifically are in, as Merritt just said, energy generation, distributions, usage, storage of it, sustainable chemical conversion, and transportation power areas too. So it's really kind of up to you where you're looking to go with this degree in what industry. So, and you'll see there a lot of different career outlooks for our students because it's really based on where do you want to go after this? Do you want to do consulting work or something, different? Joshua, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to know more about the online course. So please update me on the online course because I want to further my education a little bit. So please, can you give me a enlighten about it? Thank you.
Yeah, so the online program for the energy systems degree is the same academic rigor as our on-campus program. It's not like an easier program, and it's the same diploma at the end as well. So it's just offered online so that it fits into your schedule and when you can, do the classes and do the learning. Now there are going to be like due dates for exams, papers, things like that that you will have to adhere to. But when the learning takes place and everything, that's completely up to you. You can download the lectures to watch them, when you're traveling or without internet access. You can also, of course, like, pause, rewind, everything like that. But you can even speed up or slow down the rate of speech that the faculty member is talking on those lectures. So you really make sure that you're grasping the concepts that are being presented there. And then, as Merritt said, you have availability to meet with these faculty members via Zoom, meet with other online students in Zooms as well, so that you're feeling that community and getting to know everyone as well. So that's the really nice kind of parts of the online program. Our program also has different starts. So, depending on when you want to start the degree. So, for online students, you can start in fall, winter, or spring, summer. So, whenever it fits best for like your life to begin the program is really up to you and your choices. The on-campus program has fall and winter starts. There's only online courses offered in the spring, summer, but remember you could always start online and then go to on campus or vice versa too. So it's really allowing for that flexibility for our students. And so I did want to highlight that tomorrow is our deadline for the winter semester. So that starts in January 2026, and that is open for domestic students looking to be online or on campus, and then international students looking to be online only because the on campus deadline has passed. And then our next deadline coming up is going to be March 4th for spring summer, which is online courses only. And then the fall app early deadline is the January 15th, and then the last deadline is June 15th. So these applications are open currently, though. So if you're looking for spring, summer, or fall, apply now. You don't have to wait for those deadlines. I really recommend applying as soon as you're ready because it sometimes takes time to get your letters of recommendation in, and you don't want to be like worried about the deadline passing without having everything in because you need a full application with all materials, including recommendation letters, in by the deadline date. So when you're looking at what it takes to apply, there is an application fee. It's 75 for domestic students and 90 for international students. We already covered our GPA, but it's a 3.0 minimum, and the average coming in is the 3.5. Those letters of rec that I just brought up, we need 3 of them. It can be from supervisors or managers, or it can also be from faculty members or a mixture of them as well. So if you're working full time, don't worry about like reaching back out to faculty you haven't talked to in a while. You can just use your supervisors and managers. The GRE, like I said, isn't required, but if you're at that like threshold of 3.0, then we recommend taking it. And the average scores is a 153 verbal and a 163 quant. So that's kind of ideally what you're looking to aim for. You will supply your resume, your curriculum vitae, and then there's 2 written statements, your academic statement of purpose and your personal statement. Please keep those to 500 words because the application is holistically reviewed. So they're reading everything that comes in. So we want to try to keep those to 500 words, concise there. And then your official transcripts. And then if you are an international student, those English proficiency exams as well. So it's pretty boilerplate of what most universities are looking for the application itself. I wanted to highlight my contact information. If you have any questions that come up after this, feel free to email me and I'll try to answer them, or I'll reach out to Merritt and see if she has time to answer any of your specific questions too. But I just want to put out a call to see if there are any other last minute questions that you all have. No pressure if you don't. All right.
Okay, so hello.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, okay, so I'll send you an email, or you can send me through my mail. Then I'll talk to you maybe after checking it, please.
Yeah, please feel free to send me an email and we can set up a one-on-one Zoom call.
Okay. Very nice.
Thank you.
You are welcome, madam.
All right. Merritt, is there anything else that you'd like to say to our audience before we sign off?
No, I just say thanks for listening. And as Alicia said, don't be shy. Feel free to reach out. I will give you my honest answers. And thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much, Merritt. We so appreciate the time that you've taken out of your busy day to do this and answer the questions and give us your really great feedback and input on how the program was. I thank you so, so much. And as always, as Merritt said earlier, go blue. Thank
Thanks
you.
all. See ya.